Okay. Okay, it says we're live. Well, at least in this moment, it says that I'm live.
Okay.
Let us.
I'm on our live tab. Just waiting.
Okay. We're going to be Inception at the moment. Okay. Are you seeing you and other things?
Inception. I see Inception.
You don't see other things yet?
I'm still just seeing you and Inception, but
there should be
probably
seeing a picture.
I think it's just slow.
Inception's hysterical.
Yeah, it makes me dizzy.
Okay, I can now. Why isn't that showing?
Makes me dizzy.
Hold on one second. Let me just try sharing something else.
Oh, I can see you.
Yeah,
just you, no Inception.
I turned off. Let's try entire screen. Does that?
Oh, I'm up there at the top. You're
Okay.
in the corner.
Okay. You see stuff now? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me move you.
Yeah, this might work.
Okay. Stephanie, we are not on Twitch also. We actually weren't able to do the co-streaming the other day for the same exact reasons that we're having problems tonight.
Yeah, this is so irritating. We've got this weird gateway issue with Zoom. But I have a solution. I just didn't get it going today.
Yeah, so
a crazy day.
So usually, everybody, what we do is Steph does all of the background tech on her computer. She does the streaming and all that stuff. And because of that, we think it's because of that whole CrowdStrike? What was the name of the company?
Yeah, whatever
Because of that whole thing that they did that brought the world to a screeching halt, Steph's been having problems since then. And the workaround we figured out tonight, after she tried some stuff, was I am doing the streaming from my computer tonight, and I'm streaming from my webcam, and I'm sharing my screen with Steph on it. So the cool thing about this is that you and I are both little at the same time on the screen while it's being shared.
Yeah.
Instead of that speaker view. So, yeah. So, before we get crazy, we're just gonna have to run with the wind here because we're already starting late. But I will put this places after, but I always like to make sure that I say this. And you're gonna see it tiny. Don't worry. I will put notices out and everywhere. But the one thing I want to do before we get going is give our assignment for our next book, which is Patchwork Pillowcases by Ann Hermes. And our first discussion of this is going to be next Tuesday, the 30th. Oh my God, it's already the end of July.
I know.
That's really scary. And we're going to read the intro through chapter 2, which is pages 4 through 32. And there'll be another link for her in all the places in the description when we're done and stuff like that. If you still need to get the book, there's still time to get it. She ships really fast. And we're going to do this book in 3 sections. And we're going to have a live interview with her on August 20th at 7 p.m. And by next week, we will have the book after that ready to tell you and for you to get and stuff. We just have to button up a couple of things first before we get that going. Okie doke. And Steph and I have figured out we probably have too many quilts to show tonight. So she's probably going to continue the extravaganza on her stream on Thursday at 2 p.m. on Twitch, but there will be notices for that and things. You won't be left out. Don't worry. We'll make sure.
And I have to go back and double check with people that I said we'd be sharing their stuff on this stream and make sure they're okay if I share it on a different stream. But yeah, we have so much cool stuff to look at. Yeah.
It's probably going to be too much.
Yeah, I'm using my regular mic, but I think it's probably because Jill is having to share her screen and route this through her stuff. So yeah, we're streaming tonight with duct tape and a coat hanger.
No, we really are, because it was better to do this than nothing. So Steph, like, you might just have to like enunciate a little louder than normal. And if we can get things ready, then I mean, who knows? Maybe we can get dual streaming doing something by Thursday if they want the stuff on YouTube. Okay, so let us get going, because I have enough to keep us busy for a while. So the first thing that we're looking at here is the New England Quilt Museum, where I volunteer in the library, recently had the steampunk exhibit from SAQA that Cheryl Sloboda curated. And the exhibit's gorgeous, and you're going to see stuff from it, but it was a little small for our space. So Pam Weeks, our curator, decided to add another exhibit with it about quilts that inspire steampunk. It's a lot of crazy quilts. There's a few other quilts that aren't crazy. Oh, I'm very loud and Steph is barely audible.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to put my mouth right on the mic.
What a night. Oh, now you look like a radio announcer.
The dulcet tones of Pig.
Well, no one can say that we didn't have fun tonight. So a lot of the quilts in here are crazy. Some aren't, but they were still really gorgeous. So I was like, we're going to look at all of them. So on here, Pam wrote, steampunk has evolved from the subgenre of science fiction to a design style inspired by Victorian era industrialism, specifically steam-powered machinery. Thanks to steam power, the United States textile mills, which are steps away from the New England Quilt Museum, were in high production after the American Civil War, producing hundreds of millions of yards of woolen, silk, and cotton goods for clothing, home decoration, and quilts. Several styles of quilts were popular during this age of progress and mass production. Newspapers and ladies' magazines provided the instructions and patterns for crazy quilts, log cabin quilts, charm quilts, I can barely read the way that that's written. Multitudinous pieced quilts and competition quilts all required a dizzying array of fabrics and embellishments, as well as the skills to gather the necessary palette of fabrics, piece them together, and embellish them with fine embroidery. The quilts displayed in these three small galleries offer examples of each style and are from the collection of the New England Quilt Museum. So, with that, now let me just say, I did not adjust any lighting on these quilts. This is the way the lighting is made and stuff, just so you know, so you don't talk, your mic is off. This has got a light and a window, obviously, that you can see. And I've got some close-ups. So we've got Marion Apprentice Campbell Merrill from Worcester, Mass. The Campbell Family Crazy, circa 1888. Crazy quilt piece to batting foundation. Oh, a batting foundation. Hand embroidered silk satin pile, damask, brocade, ribbons. Marion was Scottish and a homemaker who lived most of her life in Worcester, Mass. Her spouse was Giles Stanton Merrill, a shoemaker and watchman. The quilt was made for the maker's sister, Susan Ann Campbell Bryant, for an unknown occasion, perhaps an anniversary gift. The quilt contains numerous initials of family members. That's right, I made sure to get some initials. Many blocks have embroidered symbols, including those of Masons and Oddfellows, and some have political ribbons. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's the Oddfellows.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So wait, is this like a symbol for Oddfellows, like these rings?
Yes, the three rings are Oddfellows.
And then is the handshake too?
I would assume so, yeah. I'm trying to think what I see, but I do know that the three rings are definitely Oddfellows.
I thought this was really cool.
And by the way, I don't know that I've ever seen, I mean, I'm sure that they're out there, but I don't know that I've ever seen one that says it's been basted to batting. Right?
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know that I have either.
A batting foundation, yeah. And I'm wondering, like, I mean, I'm guessing this is a period where they would have had some manufactured batting there at the end of the 19th century, because with our batting experiment, I absolutely know I could not. There's no way I could have basted anything to my little scraps of batting.
Well, unless they're considering the batting the foundation fabric inside, and they're putting another backing on.
Could be.
But I've just never really heard that referred to as the batting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the issue.
It does look puffy. It does kind of look puffy.
Isn't this cool? I've never seen like this like medievally looking armor before, and half me is like, careful, dude, that bird up there doesn't take a poo on your helmet. I thought, and this one's really pretty.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Look at all that stitching in there.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of time was taken to like that is some ridiculous like satin stitch going on there.
Yeah.
And then this one. Captain, what is it? G.E. Merrill.
Battery?
Looks like Babbery.
That's very annoying font.
Yeah, and then Worcester, Mass.
That's the kind of font people complain about. I can't read that. No, Worcester, Mass.
And then here's a little cute. Why am I having a brain fart? You know, ribbon.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, what is it? Something reception?
Annual reception.
Oh, annual. Okay.
But again, font that's really ridiculous. Like that font looks like AQQAAL.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on here. We've got another one.
Our olden days friends, they didn't understand good font.
Look, here we've got a horseshoe. Now this one looks pretty big. Do you think they actually traced a horseshoe from a real horseshoe?
They demanded to borrow from the well, actually, you know what though? That quilt that we saw where the lady borrowed the samples, that was a more modern, like that was from the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that people that back then they had their own horse. They could probably just trace their own horse's shoes.
That's maybe. So we've got Blaine Logan Jugate Ribbon Crazy Quilts. Another one piece to batting foundation. So I'm assuming then we must be calling like just the foundation fabric the batting, I feel like. Because otherwise we can't be piecing that to cotton like you're making.
Yeah, no, that's not possible.
So it must be like when there's like a foundation inside, maybe they're referring to that as batting foundation. I should ask Pam.
I'm really curious. I'm very curious about this because then that answers the question, like, did they have the kind of batting that would stand up to, you know, maybe it's some kind of felted wool or something like that. I don't know.
Well, out there. Yeah, we've got here.
We were obviously ask Pam Weeks.
Yes, I'm going to have to ask her. She says on here, we were reminded while doing the research for this label that political campaigns were often contentious and not something new for our time. The U.S. History website is worth quoting. The campaign was extremely bitter and focused on the candidate's shortcomings. Cleveland, years later in Buffalo, had fathered an illegitimate child. He had taken full financial responsibility for his offspring and publicly acknowledged that he had made a mistake. Republican opponents, however, kept the matter in the public mind by chanting, "Ma, Ma, where's my pa? Gone to the White House, ha, ha, ha." Oh,
gosh, I've heard that one before.
I had not heard that. Blaine, on the other hand, was a good family man, but had apparently engaged in questionable investment schemes while on the public payroll. That's, wow. Okay.
Well.
Thanks for the scandal.
So Arlene says, I've never seen batting in a traditional foundation piece crazy quilt. So.
And I think it's the foundation fabric. It's got to be.
Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Museum.
Well, and it's funny because one of the quotes I was taking pictures of yesterday. It's not a crazy, it's that string pieced one I sent you, that has foundation in it that has signatures on it. Did you get the pictures I sent you of the signatures? We'll have to look at them here too, but
yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, then somebody I don't think you responded to them.
Well, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I feel like that's what I'm thinking of, like in this moment, is I'm thinking of like those just fabric foundations, and that's probably what the batting is going to be for a quilt like that. Anywho,
right.
I thought this. Oh no, just kidding. I thought this block was stunning. Now this is a font I can get behind. That's like the three. I like how it's 3 different colored layers of embroidery. I thought that was really pretty. And then this gorgeous painted flower with the little bumblebee butt. It looks like
that's a nice one.
There was like a signature here at one point. Like I can see like an M and maybe like an S here.
Yeah, that does look like there's something right there.
Yeah, I wonder what that might have been. I wonder if that's like in like the information about the quilt that they knew that. Look at this one. This is bananas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a postage stamp.
Am I supposed to let my eyes relax and I'm going to see something in there?
It does almost kind of look like if you backed away enough, you'd start to see a portrait, doesn't it? The way the light's on it. Yeah, this one's postage stamp quilts, 1880, hand pieced and quilted, machine applied binding, cotton front, muslin back, 6,764 3/4 inch squares. Like, that's bananas. And they have on here like the full provenance.
That big.
Yeah, it's really teeny. It's really teeny.
Wow.
Yeah, Janet, the bird was sideways to the flowers on the other one. Yeah, this was bananas, and I love that they have like all of the provenance here.
I also love the mention of Lancaster blue. Lancaster blue is nothing other than double blue.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets that. That's what our friend Barb calls it, like the $50 word or the $100 words that lots of people like to use to make it sound specialer.
Specialer. Yeah, look at that.
It's a pretty blue, though. I mean, yes. I have to say, I do love double blue.
All the different fabrics in here are in.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
It's like,
and it looks like an attempt at some fussy cutting in there.
Which one in particular?
I mean, I'm just seeing like
the sleeve here.
Towards the sort of left-hand top, sort of 2, 3 blocks. It looks like it's like little chain, like a little chain or a. And then, yeah, I mean, some of these just don't look random.
It also is a good balance of color. You know, like they haven't, they've made sure to use these lighter prints.
Yeah,
to scatter out all the dark stuff. Like they've really done a good job of balancing.
Well, I'm wondering also if that was their piecing plan.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't think I have. Is that the only picture I took of that one? Yes, look at this one. Like it only gets more bananas as we go. If you thought if you thought you were blind on the last quilt, just wait.
Holy Moses. Look at this.
Isn't that crazy? This one, it's like each one of these smaller blocks is like one of that last whole quilt, like made smaller and put into here. And this one's obviously even more planned out because we've got kind of this like Irish chain looking kind of action. And even after all of that microscopic piecing, they had enough energy for this border.
Yeah, that border would have been a piece of cake after that teeny tiny piecing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this one is Margaret Bryan's little quilt 1875 cotton. She made this quilt while she lived on the Illinois prairie in a log cabin built by her father. She's known in her community as a superior quilter, and this quilt is considered to be her masterpiece. Embroidered on the back of the quilt is the inscription, Margaret Little Quilt. 19,712 is written in pencil next to the inscription. This is the number of pieces in the quilt. Boy, she's giving our friend Amy Pabst a run for her money, huh?
Right?
Look at that.
And I like how it's little quilts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how insane is this block? Like, I actually don't, I don't even know how tiny these pieces are. Oh, look at that little tiny star. Like, this piece looks gigantic compared.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to, like, my eyes are just going everywhere, like, oh. Yeah, it looks like they were pieced with that blue, like it was little more patches with that.
Carolyn just said that has to be more thread than.
Oh, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, considering like she's trying to like cross like the she's trying to like make like quilted blocks in here, and she's fit 9 and a smidge. But you know what's interesting is like if you look at the actual little blocks, she's put the quilting right through the block instead of maybe trying to do kind of that outline. Well, and it's probably because the seams were so big.
Yeah, I was gonna say even with teeny tiny. I mean, I knew they sometimes did teeny tiny, like ridiculous seams, but yeah, I'm sure the seams were kind of a problem with this.
Yeah, and I like how every block, while the pieces are really tiny, they're planned. Because like you go up into this other block here that's still like a blue, but I think I might have taken a picture of at least one more set here. Yeah, look at this one. And then you got
said they look like they're half-inch finished. So
it could be. And then we got like this like crazy like kind of scrapular looking block up here, and this one's all the black and white. And then look, the quilting's different now. She went, and then on this one, she went diagonal through the block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you think she quilted this one by herself?
Oh my gosh. Well, if she still had eyesight and fingers left after piecing all that.
You know what? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it's so tiny so we can't see the blood from like from doing all the tiny piecing? Moving on to this one. This one is getting a little back to the crazy in the sense that a lot of these blocks are painted. Like, look at this horseshoe right here.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So it's funny, like as I was going through the exhibit and originally just taking pictures of the crazies, because there are more, I was just like, you know what? I can't leave this other stuff behind. Like, it's too neat. So, yeah. So, this one, it's like, I feel like, you know how we were talking numerous times about how sometimes you get like, you buy, blocks pre-made for your crazy quilt that maybe are embroidered or they're painted or there's something. Half of me got the feeling that was like, I wonder if this is one of those scenarios where someone just had a bunch of those painted blocks that could end up in a crazy, but decided, I don't want that crazy quilt mess stuff. I want something more planned. I haven't seen one like this.
And now, are all of these painted? Or is it
I think, if I remember correctly, they might. Well, wait, let me see. I think I got the close-up of some stuff. Hold on. Let's see. Black and red ocean waves, hand-pieced, painted, and quilted silk and cotton. The 41 8-inch square blocks set on point and 16 half blocks are painted with a multitude of floral motifs, some fanciful and some botanically correct. The scallop borders and uncommon edge. Okay, so they're all painted. I thought maybe some of them might have had some ribbon embroidery, but I might be thinking of another one. But yeah, look at that. Like, that looks like most, like, the kind of painting you see on like the stucco Greek walls, like the really old Roman style kind of painting, and it gives that, like, this almost looks like it's painted on stucco instead of like fabric, the way it's like wearing and colored and stuff. You look like you're gonna say something.
I'm actually looking at the red and black. So the black looks like some kind of twill, or at least that black at the top. Maybe there are multiple black fabrics, but it looks like it's either like a grosgrain kind of texture or a twill weave. And then that red is super shiny. I'm assuming the red is silk.
Yeah, it's really shiny.
The black could be silk too. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be shiny to be silk. Yeah, this one's interesting. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything with that many painted blocks.
Well, unless it's a crazy quilt.
Right.
Because I have seen crazies with a lot of her.
Yeah, even with crazy quilts. I mean, and not to say they're not out there. I just haven't seen them. I haven't had a chance to examine anything like that.
I've seen a few with a lot of paintedness when we did one of the mass quilt documentations in the last couple of months. And a lot of what I was seeing was paint on like velvet.
Yeah, the one block I have that has some painting on it's painted on velvet.
I took the shoe because, like, shoes, and we've been talking about shoes. And how cute is the shoe?
Yeah, that's a cute shoe.
Well, and it kind of looks like some pincushions we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then we have this, which isn't as crazy, obviously a little scrappier, but it's, it's so funny because if your eyes sit a certain way, you see the tumbling block. And then if your eyes are sitting another way, you see the star.
Yeah, I love this pattern, the tumbling block pattern, because of that, depending on how you do the colors.
Well, and look at the center medallion and how that sits. It makes like 3 different squares that come out. That was very interesting. And again, this is all part of that one little exhibit of this particular late 1800s era that's going to inform the StitchPunk exhibit. So this one's links to Pennsylvania. They're calling it a charm quilt. I didn't study it enough, but if they're saying it's a charm quilts were another fad in the 4th quarter of 19th century. A charm quilt is usually constructed using one block patterns such as this 6-pointed star, but no fabric is repeated. Some scholars believe that the name charm originates in another fad in which young girls made charms of 100 different buttons. That's interesting. To paraphrase the collector Pat Nichols, Pennsylvania charm quilts have strong color palettes with repeated use of green, double pink, bright blue, clear yellow, and turkey red. I haven't heard the term clear yellow. Secondary designs such as rows or rings of color with the center of solid fabrics and the 6-pointed stars are often noted. I didn't take any close-ups of this one. So I have seen numerous quilts that claim to be charm quilts. And I just say claim just because, like, I believe people, but for me, how on earth do you, like, figure that out? Because, like, for me, like, these fabrics right here, I'd probably think were, like, the same fabric.
And I think some of them are, actually. So over there on the right-hand side, like right below my picture, that looks like it's the same fabric. It just happens to be a print where they've cut 2 different.
That's what I mean. Like, I would think those are the same. Yeah. But how, like, even ones that we, like, they know for a fact are true charm quilts. And I guess Arlene, like, this one's coming to you. How do you, like, make sure? Do you literally, like, take a picture of, like, every single fabric to, like, compare? Like, how can you trust? Because even, like, these ones up here, I might think that those are the same, and maybe they're not, but, So
are you saying that if somebody claims their quilt is a charm quilt, but you see 2 blocks or 2 patches that are the same, you'd be like, nope, not a charm?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be no fabric is repeated. Yeah.
I realize that.
Yeah.
I suspect, though, that there might be a little bit of repetition. I don't know. Arlene says lots of looking over and over.
But even in the looking over and over, right? Like we can easily see, you know, some pink down here. And then like see that pink like up here and just not realize we've already seen it, you know, like I'm just like, it seems like, I don't know, you'd need like to diagram or something. I don't really know.
She says charm quilts are typically one patch block and it repeats.
So if they're considering like this whole thing is a patch, so this, if these are the same fabrics, that'd just be considered a patch and this star wouldn't be repeated. But yeah, charm quilts really, they stump me. They stress me out because I'm just like,
well, I mean,
how do you know?
Imagine the poor lady making one who's like, oh my gosh, I am one piece of fabric short.
I think that's when you got to call your friends.
Beg, borrow, and steal from a friend.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we have this, which we're getting back into the crazy quilt kind of fabric type, but we're actually like a courthouse steps log cabin here, right? Yeah, courthouse steps.
Yeah.
Carrie E. White Reed, Chelmsford, Mass., which Chelmsford's right next to Lowell. Courthouse steps 1900, pieced by hand to a foundation. Now, it's interesting is this one says pieced to a foundation. The other one was saying batting foundation. I don't know. Maybe this one doesn't have a back. Satin, taffeta, cotton, silk, velvet. Victorian needleworkers, urged by the numerous women's magazines of the day, created not only crazy quilts in silks and satins, but other patterns as well. Log cabin are among the most popular. Because it is a pattern that was generally not quilted, it was also very appropriate for execution in silks and satins. Courthouse steps is a variation of the log cabin. Carrie White Reed made this piece prior to her marriage, and it was given to the museum in 1986. That's the year I was born, by her daughter-in-law, Virginia Reed.
You don't have to remind us of how young you are.
I don't. Oh wait, damn. I don't feel that young.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. So Janet said it would be a good job for a computer algorithm. I feel like ChatGPT be like, dude, look at this quilt. I have no time to make sure there are no repeats.
Actually, you know what? Someone really should write a program that does that.
Yeah.
Touche, Janet.
Arlene said Pat Nichols has an article in Uncoverings. She thinks it's the 1995 issue about charm quilts, and she's currently making a little doll quilt out of hexes and in the process of making sure she has no repeats. I technically have made a hexie with no repeats.
On purpose, or it just happened that way?
Yeah, no, I was purposefully even either like are they half inch hexies? They're either half inch or 3/4 inch hexies, and I specifically fussy cut like all of these tiny little novelty prints.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's literally like teeny tiny. It's like a 8.5 by 11.
You like them teeny?
Yeah, tiny stuff is easier. Honestly,
I don't think so. You and Amy think it's I don't think it's easier.
There's a difference between microscopic and teeny. A teeny I could get with. Microscopic, Amy's work is amazing, but it just like it makes my eyes cross.
So I thought what was really cool about this, I've seen this pattern, you know, recently often, but never with all the silks intact. Like even though this isn't quilted, because I feel like because the pieces tend to be so small, I feel like more often than not you see like whole areas missing, and this one seemed to be, oh, this isn't finished. Okay, yeah, look at the bottom here. So that's why she just said foundation, because there's no back to this.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not finished on the bottom, but I think like everything here is intact.
Wow.
Yeah, and that one, that's why I was like, wow, that's like, did she make this and then it just like never saw the light of day, or moisture, or you know, or heat, humidity.
It was stored well.
Yeah,
it was stored well and just never used. That's gorgeous.
So Arlene's saying maybe a program that identifies quilt block and fabric dating app. So what do we need to do? Do we need to smash Brackman and like Tristane and the other fabric type books together into an app?
Yeah. And I found out, actually, I just found out Bobby Ogg wrote a book or researched a book called The Calico Man.
Oh, I have that.
That's another one.
Yeah, I have that. Yep.
Yeah, that's a Bobby Ogg book.
Oh.
So yeah, we need to like compile all that stuff, tell, I don't know, it's probably not ChatGPT, like, but one of those large language models, like, all right, here's what you got to do.
We're going to give it a pep talk just like that.
And you know what it'll do? It'll say, well, I believe that is Amish Mennonite, an Amish Mennonite quilt from the mid-19th century. And can you see the feed sacks?
And then it'll be like, and don't forget the Lancaster blue.
And then you're going to say, large language model, you suck.
Okay, moving on. This was very striking in the room. And it stinks because the room was so small, I couldn't get back far enough to get all of this border in. That's the one thing that stinks about the pocket galleries. But look at this quilting in the border. So let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4,
gosh, yes. I see that.
five cables. 3, 4. It looks like 5. Yeah, isn't that pretty? I'm not used to seeing them so scrunched like that. I'm used to seeing them like stretched a little more. Like that one's like a circle.
They make that nice big round shape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so much from there. Yeah, Arlene did remind me. Google Lens does do some of this, but it's not very good. I don't know. It's hit or miss with quilts. You know? That's
true. But yeah, Arlene, you're right. Like it's a lot of books that we're gonna have to like compile into this thing, and that's one thing that I hate about there being so many fabric dating books. They're all great, but I literally have to look through every single one where I'm just like, isn't there like a computer program that just has all these pictures and I can just be like, find me all the purples? Like, you know, could we maybe get together and do that?
Yeah. And then of course our friend Mia is trying to build the online feedback directory, and then there's Lee that runs Tat Sacks also has like the analog version of that, and so many people have done such great research. It's like, when is ChatGPT and all of these large language models going to get their butts in gear and help us?
Yeah, that would be one thing that AI would be good for.
Yeah.
So this is another Pennsylvania log cabin, late 1800s, hand piece, hand quilted wool chalice. That's a kind of fabric. That's not a word I'm like familiar with in this moment.
Yeah, it's challis.
Challis.
My mom was always pronounced challis.
Oh, well. See, you're much more on with the fabric terminology than I am. They're the quintessential symbol of the frontier, which is the log cabin. It has appeared as the American quilt pattern since around the time of the first election campaign of Abraham Lincoln in 1859. Its popularity peaked in the third quarter of the 19th century, when the 1876 centennial celebration renewed interest in the United States history, real and mythical. Initially, silk was the fabric of choice for log cabin quilts, but later examples are seen quite often in wool and cotton. To construct a log cabin block, we don't need to know about that. The central square is usually red, attributed to being the hearth, but other colors have been used according to the whim of the maker. Because of their construction of many layers, log cabin quilts are difficult to quilt and instead are often tacked or tied to their backing. By careful placement of lights and darks, the log cabin appears in 2 basic patterns: block style repetitiveness, as in windmill blades, courthouse steps, and light and dark, and overall patterns such as barn raising, straight furrow, and streak of lightning. I don't think I did a close-up of any of that one because it's just too striking far away. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like log cabins, unless you're gonna like be studying the actual fabric, need to be seen from afar.
Yeah, I love a log cabin.
Wow, it looks really, really nice on the screen far away. Arlene commented, someone has to feed AI. Yes, Arlene, like that's what I'm saying. We're talking about all the things we got to put in there.
Yeah, AI, I did take a close look. We're feeding the algorithm right now.
Actually, I did take a close up because I really liked this block that's sneaking in this green. Because everything else here, right? You got all the light and dark, and then there's just this like random turquoise snuck in here, but you don't notice because that's the great thing about scrappy quilts is you can sneak weird crap in that no one's going to notice because it's about the overall play of color.
Well, you know what I think is wild, what gives it so much movement is some of these plaids are cut way off green.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like this like really kind of sideways thing going there.
And this is one skinny log cabin. Whew. I think the only kind of log cabin I've ever done it was 2.5 inch strips. And then we have this one, which we're climbing back into the crazier genre. I really like the blues in this. It's very striking.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
That's pretty neat.
They're just kind of random because notice there's like nothing up here. And they're just like, how about a pretty little blue over here? And you get a blue, and you get a blue, and you get a blue.
And those are like really that, like, I mean, that's like an indigo, right? Or no? No.
Aren't indigos?
Yeah, no,
I don't
indigo
think
would be like more of a darker, yeah. That's like an Ives Klein blue.
Yeah, I guess. I don't really know what I would call it. I guess from afar here, it almost looks kind of like a cadet type blue. I mean, I know.
It looks like it's the same color as Painter's Tape.
Leave it to you to like.
That's definitely brighter than indigo.
You know, half of me is like, does it match this Post-it note? Like, this is Post-it note blue. So this is Martha Moffat Tombs. Straight Furrows log cabin, 1900. Hand piece tied, bound by machine, silk satin taffeta. How do you say that word? This one.
File. I know Shelly because my mom said it recently, but I can't remember.
Oh. So whatever that thing is, in velvet.
Silky. Yeah, it's a silky fabric.
So this log cabin crosses the genre of the traditional log cabin pattern with the Victorian penchant for luxury fabrics and the commonly used in crazy quilts. Most of the fabrics are solid colors of various fabrics that reflect light. The checked, floral, and striped fabrics, which, wow, I didn't even notice those, add another layer of interest to the overall pattern. A handwritten note attached to one corner of the quilt states, "To Louise, this beautiful log cabin quilt was pieced by your great-grand-aunt, Mrs. Martha Moffat Toombs. She was born on May 29th, 1812, and was the youngest sister of your great-grandfather, Artemis Sergeant Moffat." Wow, what a name.
Artemis.
Yep. Well, just Artemis Sergeant Moffat. She was about 70 years old when the quilt was made, with my love, Adeline Sergeant Moffat. So lovely.
I'm trying to think. I have somebody in my, I have a relative in my, I'm trying to think which side of the family she's on, named Martha Moffat. It was her maiden name, and I don't remember what her last name is. But this would have been North Carolina. But yes, they called her Miss Martha. Miss Martha? Yes, because, people in where my dad is from don't pronounce their THs. They just, they pronounce it as Fs. Miss Martha.
Now look at this one. Isn't that cool? Like, have you ever seen a log cabin with an actual log cabin in the center of it?
I have not.
Yeah. I thought that was very, and this quilt is large. Like, it's, I don't even really know how to describe kind of like the scale of it when you're standing in front of it, but that house block is pretty big compared to the blocks around it. So this one's Emma L. Danforth. Ooh, I wonder if that's related to the Danforth Museum. Dunbar, Hopkinton, New Hampshire. Log cabin, central to Medallion, circa 1885. Hand pieced and tied. Cotton. So we've got more things here about just the log cabin that we've already read a bunch of stuff. At the bottom here, we got Emma Lucinda Danforth's husband, Henry Dunbar, drove the stagecoach from Contoocook to Concord, New Hampshire each day, not to be mistaken with Concord, Massachusetts, but was best known as a skilled cabinet maker. Emma lived to be 103 years old, and when interviewed by the local paper at the age of 100, she joked that she was George Washington's sister, as they shared the same birthday, the 22nd of February. Look at that. Isn't that neat? I love the door. And this piecing here is really interesting. Because it's like, I feel like she didn't necessarily have to piece in that manner.
Piece it as a log cabin. Yeah, I can picture this lady going, and she sounds like somewhat of a card. I bet she was like, you know what? I bet I can make a log cabin out of log cabin piecing. And I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I just love like this. Like, she even went down to like the door hatch handle here, like, and even like, look, she even like, I'm assuming that's she stitched the chimney and like smoke coming out of the chimney.
That's wild. I love it.
It's very
cute.
Oh, it's so pretty. Like, and it's one of those quilts that hold on, let me go back to the big. That when you're standing in front of it, it really makes you feel really cozy. And not necessarily, it's a very thin quilt, but just like the way that the light and dark is and that house, and you're just like, I just feel really cozy.
Yeah.
So I had to share that coziness. Okay, I don't think.
Very nice.
Okay.
I like it.
Now we get back to crazy. This one's got a lot of velvet in it. And we got a lot of like we got like ribbon embroidery down here. We got some more ribbon embroidery here. And it's funny, I mentioned the other day that I was like, maybe I want to do ribbon embroidery, but like it's a whole nother thing to get into.
It is.
And then this face here is kind of weird. It kind of looks like that one we saw in the book the other day, but it looks like one that like went through the washing machine a couple times and maybe isn't as sharp.
Yeah, like it's a pen and ink, right? It's not painted.
Oh, Janet said that weird fabric is pronounced file.
File, yes. I thought it was something like that, but
and it's usually silk with a bit of a rib to it. Oh, I can picture it. Yeah,
it's almost like it's sort of green.
Yep. So we've got Unknown Maker, Cleveland Hendricks Crazy, 1884, hand piece, machine quilted backing, silk velvet cotton. This quilt contains a lapel ribbon from the 1884 presidential campaign of Grover Cleveland, then governor of New York, and his vice presidential running mate, Thomas A. Hendricks of Indiana. We were reminded while doing the research for this label that we're going again into the political campaign stuff. And now we got this baby. And these are pretty small quilts. These ones are in like a tiny little pocket gallery that like kind of like you can see out down the staircase from this one. And this one is all like controlled, and then we've got a crazy quilt border with a lot of embellishment going on in the corners there.
There's a lot going on in this quilt.
Yeah. This is definitely, one of those ones that you could look at for a long time.
Yeah. Oh gosh, look at those purpley and blue pieces in the tumbling blocks or the stars or whatever you're gonna call them.
I mean, which purpley blue are we talking about here? There's quite a lot of purpley blues.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I mean, all of them, but the ones that kind of up there closer to the top. Yeah, those. That's what I saw first. But then I see that baby blue. Yeah, those are neat. Yeah, I guess this is not tumbling blocks because of the those black hexagons.
Mm-hmm. But if your eyes do soften,
then you got the crazy part.
I know. It's very busy, but at least they put in this black stripe in the middle here for your eyes to rest. And because you've got all this black back here. Well, and actually, I guess some of it's not black. Like this is brown.
Yeah, that fabric though is helpful.
Yes.
I think otherwise it would be like you go blind trying to look at this thing.
Well, and it's funny too because they're crazy. Let's see if I can. They're crazy has a ton of stitching and stuff going on with it. This almost, I know it's probably not meant to be, but this looks like black cat eyes right here. Like he's peeking out like through like, you know, like a hole of some kind. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Let me see if I got any close-ups of anything. I don't remember if I did. All right, so this one's Nantucket, Massachusetts. 1890, hand piece appliqued and embroidered silken velvet. This quilt's got a crazy border and an ordered interior placed in a traditional format of a clearly delineated framed medallion. Wow, what a mouthful. Not the norm for a crazy style quilt. The orderly central area is composed of pieced 6-pointed stars that touch around solid black hexagons. It's considered somewhat crazy because it has the same variety of silk and velvet fabrics of multiple colors of the border. Embroidered sprays of daisies adorn each of the 4 corners. I feel like I got one of those. Oh, okay, I did get some. Look at this butterfly. Like, that is a hefty butterfly.
Oh, yeah. What is going on there? Can you zoom in a little bit on that picture? I mean, is that all just some kind of like gilt? Kind of, I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of pipe cleaners. Like, remember those like goldish looking pipe cleaners? And I feel like it like almost looks like it's like molded and stitched down. I'm not saying it is that, but that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. It's some kind of metallic stuff, trim or something that they've created that butterfly. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The people are very creative on these crazy quilts.
Yeah, and look at the stitching on this corner. Like this like satin stitch alone. And they were using, it looks like they were using maybe 6 strands. So it's pretty thick.
Yeah. I know with this silk, and I don't know if that's silk or not, or could it be mercerized cotton? I know mercerized cotton is also very, silky. But some of the threads that they used back then were not like stranded like our embroidery cloths. Mm-hmm. They were kind of just already that heavier weight of, twist, like buttonhole twist is, one of the silks that's like that. But that's some incredible stitching.
Mm-hmm. Then we got this bad boy. I am obsessed with this block right down here with this like multicolored blue fabric.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like just like a stripe basically, but it looks really interesting in this kind of like sunrise format. It kind of just looks like sun rays to me. So
yeah, I love that. Can you imagine what the dress that would have been, that sort of striky platy kind of bright blue was made out of? Yeah.
This bird here is also pretty cool. And this like fan. Let me see what I got this here. So Sarah Ellis Clark, 1830 to 1912, Rutland, Vermont, fan crazy quilt. According to family history, the fan crazy quilt was made by Sarah Ellis Clark. Sarah was born in Springfield, Vermont, and died in Chicago, Illinois. In 1849, she married Horace G. Clark, 1822 to 1901, in Springfield. At some time after their marriage, they moved to Rutland, Vermont, where all 3 of their children were born. The quilt was likely made in Rutland. Several of the blocks have inscriptions or names. One very interesting inscription reads, "Aloha, oh Mrs. C.B. Andrews." how would you pronounce that? Macau?
I don't want to guess because that'd be wrong.
Yeah. Maui, Hawaii, October 29th, 1886. Can you imagine traveling to Hawaii during that period?
Yeah. You would be taking a slow boat.
It would take you a long, I mean, that's already, isn't it Hawaii something like a 6-hour flight from California?
Something like that.
Yeah, it would be quite a trip to get there. Wow. And it's funny, a lot of times when I'm taking quilts in the museum for you guys, I'm not reading these things ahead of time. Oftentimes I'm learning right along with you. So I most people would be like, well, you are there. Didn't you see it beforehand? I did not. I am enjoying the exhibit with you. Oh, good. I did get the bird. I was going to say, did I get a close-up of that bird? Here we got Aunt Abby. And let's see, on the side here, we got Frank K. Wilcox here, I think.
Oh, wow.
And then, like, look at these pansies. It's like, it looks like it's, like, painted on, like, a velvet. And then this bird is just awesome.
Yeah, that looks like a sort of a pale, colored or yellow.
And then again with like the ridiculous font satin stitch. Can you imagine stitching this thing? Good Lord. And also to stitch it in such a way that it's got like these two like little humps in the middle.
Yeah.
Like these guys ain't got nothing on Microsoft Word fonts.
Yeah, Janet confirmed. 6 hours to Hawaii from California.
Yeah. And that's by plane. So I got this one. Do you think this is like an oyster? Like, or is it like a bud? Is it a flower bud?
I don't know.
I guess maybe it's a flower bud on its side. But at first it kind of looked like an oyster to me. And then like this kind of like menagerie down here looks like a bunch of buds on like a tree branch.
A little branch. Yeah, like a little branch or something. Yeah.
And then I have no idea what this is.
Bright orange fabric.
This right here?
I'm assuming, or maybe it's a bright red and it's just the coloration, but yeah, not bright.
No, I think that's orange. I think that's orange.
The bottom.
Yeah, this right here.
That. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think that's.
Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. I wasn't sure if you had your cursor there.
I like this stitching up in this block right here. It's very interesting. And this like look at this little bedazzled goober right here.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that cute?
And those little like very top corner, those little things.
Those little things.
The little flowers. That's probably what you were already.
Yeah, these right here. I was gonna say, what are those little things? Guys, everybody, make sure you look at the little things.
We're in a delay, Jill. I'm having a hard time understanding what you're pointing to.
I think that is, that's the end.
That
is the end. Okay.
Well, I knew that the museum was going to take a long time.
But you know what? It worked. It works out. So
you got bumped,
Arlene. We're gonna go into StitchPunk. I don't have as many pieces from this, just because some of them are sculptural, and they don't pick up well on the camera. Like I just can't give you enough of the.
As I learned trying to photograph my own sculptural piece.
Mm-hmm. So. Cheryl Sloboda here, who is brilliant and wonderful and fabulous, and she's super, super nice. She's got her juror's statement here. Ever since humans could dream about a future, they also imagined what if. This question is at the heart of StitchPunk. Steampunk asks, what if you blend futuristic technology with the steam-powered industrialism of the Victorian era? Biopunk asks, what if we lived in a retro futuristic world that blends the atomic age with mid-century modern aesthetics? Anything humans can imagine can be punked, and central to it all is science fiction. The artists in StitchPunk have interpreted punk to tell their own distinctive stories using fabric as their medium. Texture, stitching, stuffing, and more add a depth that cannot be conveyed through two-dimensional paintings or photographs. Again, why I had trouble photographing some things. Each piece reveals a different what-if question, transporting viewers to alternate dimensions or strange universes where history turned out differently. The dedication, skill, and unique perspectives of these creators form a rich tapestry of human expression. I am deeply impressed by the creativity and talent of the artists whose works show the extraordinary power of stitch to convey beauty, meaning, and deep sense of humanity. Through this exhibition, they share their artistry, stories, and passion with the world. StitchPunk stands as a statement to the enduring legacy of sewing and the boundless possibilities it holds for artistic expression and social commentary. And there is a piece, I think the very last piece we're going to look at, the social commentary you could have about that piece. Janet said that travel by steamship to Hawaii would take a couple of weeks. Sailing would take a month or two. Yeah, that's a long time.
Wow.
So this first piece is Minerva, who it's kind of funny. When you first walk up the stairs into the gallery, this is the first object you see. And I only work in the library once a week. So I kept forgetting that this was up there. And oftentimes when I go up there in the morning, I'm the only one upstairs, like when everything first opens. And it would just kind of be like, if you see it out the corner of your eye, you forget that there's something there. So I've got lots of.
Wow, this is so cool.
I have lots of different views of her. She is a corset and different kinds of padding, and then she's bedazzled in sewing tools. So I thought,
now is this a sculpture or is this a costume?
I think it's considered a sculpture. Let me see the.
Okay, because I mean I can see that this is like literally like a costume that's been mounted.
No, I think she's a sculpture. I do have. I'm pretty sure I got her wall mount tag there, but I know that you. I know you really wanted to see her. Yeah. She's just all this sewing stuff. And there is another sculpture that I didn't take pictures of that it was like a train they made where like part of it is a child's sewing machine, and like it's very there. This exhibit's very cool. There we go. If it comes near you, I don't know where it went after us. I don't recall, but it's definitely worth going to see if you got it. So let's see. This is mannequin clock, handmade EVA foam armor, handmade jewelry, paper mask, altered cotton corset, calico fabric, recycled linen, tubing, buckles, rivets, grommets, vintage sewing tools, found objects, paint, wax, walnut. Wow, how did she even keep track of all the different things on here? Hand machine and embroidered and quilted, hand dyed, painted. So it's steampunk meets stitchpunk. Meet the Greek goddess Minerva. She was the daughter of Metis and Jupiter, born when Vulcan used a hammer to split Jupiter's head. Oh my God, all my classics courses are coming back. From the cleft, Minerva emerged whole, adult, and in full battle armor. Minerva is the goddess of crafts and textiles. This piece is a steampunk homage to my mother and grandmother, who were both always ready with a needle or sewing machine for a last-minute dress emergency, trouser turn-ups, or even a torn, wet horse rug on Christmas morning. What's a horse rug?
I'm assuming that it's a blanket or something for the horse.
Mended at the dining table with a pair of old denim jeans. Nothing could ever faze these warrior stitch women. I like that. I hope that in some small way I live up to that warrior spirit. Oh, I didn't even know it was available for sale. I did not know that. Yeah, so if anyone super loves it, I have no idea what any of the prices on anything are. I guess I could find out. That can't be the only picture I took of her. There we go.
Very cool.
So here's her back. Look, like her, what would be like maybe like a quiver is a parasol. Isn't that cool? Like, look at what she even like created to hold the parasol.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is very cool.
And this is here, we got a fan.
And I mean, I just see all of these little like pieces in there that, the fan and, oh my goodness, yeah, that is just wild.
And then look, you've got all these different.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Janet said the horse rug goes under the saddle.
Okay.
I thought it's like a blanket that goes under the saddle.
And then look, you've got these like bobbins here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Like, that is so cool.
And then even like down the bottom here, she's got like a one of those sewing kit pockets. And then this is like I have one of these in my sewing collection, like one of those lady companions. I think I have, yeah, let's see, I got here. I mean, girlfriend's got them perky, gotta love that. I like here that this almost like you can see like kind of like the inside of her arm to a certain degree, it looks like, you know, because this is where her elbow would be.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's kind of, I guess that's sort of almost an element of the steampunk, is that, you know, you have like tubing and wires and stuff. That.
Look at this
but
tiny.
Oh my gosh, look at the gauntlets. There's a pin cushion, and then there's all those little tools up on the upper arm. Oh, so cool.
Look at this little thimble holder right here, and then she's got like oh my god, why am I having a brain fart? What are these called? Bobbins. Bobbins here. But yeah, here's the other side of that like ladies companion. Let me see. And then here she's got some little like she's like go gadget. You know, she's got the button button hook here. Looks like she's got seam rippers up on her shoulder pad. And then she's kind of all like bedazzled with like lace stuff over here.
Very cool. You know, and I mean, I'll be transparent here. I do not love steampunk. It's one of those things that I think was like, it was really kind of neat in the beginning, but then like it just, you know, it's like crazy quilts themselves. Yeah, I think it got overdone in a lot of places, but this is very, very cool. And I think that what she did with this is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I would be okay with this like being in my house. Probably I'd have to get used to her sitting at my dining room table,
scaring the crap out of you every time you walk in the dark room.
Do you know what's funny? One of the exhibits before that, the first thing you would see when you came up was this big like 6 foot tall bear quilt, and that used to scare the crap out of me when I'd come up and all the lights are off. I got a side of her here too. So I got this because of all these little nuggets in here. Kind of hanging off of her like a charm bracelet.
So Janet asks, what's a ladies' companion? Sounds like a portable restroom.
So Janet, it's a sewing kit. We'll do them one night on our Needlework Nights. It's a sewing kit, like a I don't have, do I have one right here? I don't think I do. You open it up and it has a place that has like your scissors and it holds your thimble, and sometimes it has a mirror in there, which we recently found out was to help illuminate the room from a fire or a candle.
And not just make sure you're pretty while you're sewing.
Yeah. Well, but it was totally believable that we thought that the world expected women to be pretty while they're sewing. And scissors, thimble, needle holders, things like that. And they often are coming from, you know, overseas and things like that. And it would be called a ladies' companion. Sometimes it actually says on it ladies' companion. I have a few of them, but they are often like
the intent is for it to be something that's easily carried, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you know, not something like your big sewing kit or your big sewing basket, but like just a little thing
and or not like that big what would they have been called, like a wardrobe companion that would have had your sewing stuff, your nail stuff, and like perfumes and things in it, like a dresser,
like a vanity set or something.
Yeah, something like that you would carry that was a lot bigger and had a lot more stuff in it. So yeah, I think that's.
But I do also like the idea of, you know, some sort of modern bathroom accessory.
I think that's called a shiwi. I think that's called a shiwi. So, one thing this exhibit has is it has variety. That's for sure. There's some things that are sculptural-esque, some things that are very much a quilt with some 3D aspects to it, because this is actually like a piece that sticks out. And some are, I'm not sure exactly what I would call them. This one's Linda Mackey Finney, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
So this has got like an H.G. Wells kind of
Yeah.
thing to it, I guess. Jules Verne, maybe.
Is that Habituation of Mr. Morris? Is that right? Habituation? I don't even know.
That sounds like a word.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Cotton, metal embellishments, hand-stitched, embroidered, and quilted, embellished. The gentleman in the picture represents William Morris, proponent of the arts and crafts movement, and the artwork in the bottom left is derived from one of Morris's wallpaper designs. The theme is the ever-growing conflict between the purposeful and slow work of the hand and mass production and industrialization of the 19th and 20th centuries. This one's also for sale. I don't know if maybe all of these are for sale, and I just wasn't paying attention to that. But yeah, isn't this interesting that I thought like we've got his face here, and then we have him like industrialized. I almost saw that as it's like a selling your soul kind of situation. like you had great ideas and you sold them into the industrial world. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Lots of dense quilting and stuff.
Jen mentions a necessaire.
Yep, that's the same thing. It was like a lady's companion, yeah.
And honestly, a necessaire to me also sounds like it could be a sheepy.
Well, we can have modern meanings too, but yeah, Jen, some of the ones that I have say necessaire, and some of them say like lady's companion. Depending, I guess it would probably depend on like where they're coming from, because I feel like maybe ones that come from like France might say necessaire. I don't know. If Dawn's watching, she'll show up and tell us what the correct things are. I don't know why there's an octopus. I'm not entirely sure. We're still on the same quilt here of William Morris, but then we've got that piece that she mentioned. And like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I see an octopus with steampunk stuff, I just think like H.G. Wells kind of.
So I guess to a certain extent, because some of the pieces, like two of the original pieces, which if you want to see those, Tara Miller also came to the museum one day and did a tour of this exhibit. I tried to make sure to take pictures of different things than she did, so that you can go and watch her thing on YouTube if you want to watch it. She's got she's the Quilt District on YouTube. And the first things when you come in are two, it's a female and male pirate piece. That kind of gave me a lot of that H.G. Wells kind of vibe to it. Ooh. Okay, I guess that was the end of that one. So this one is a sculpture. It kind of reminds me of something out of Stranger Things. I took it because I included it because it's very odd. And it's got a bit of a, I don't know, like a wow factor to it. What are your thoughts?
Okay, they're buttons, right?
I believe so. So this is called Think 2023. Cotton, printed and recycled paper, buttons, beads, metal washers, springs, cording, wire, wool, paint, ink, vintage plugs, and found objects. Mixed media assembled, beaded, needle felted, coil wrapped, hand and machine stitched. Our increasing dependence on technology has created a hyper-connected digital world where human cognition merges with computational power. I don't know if that's a weird word. The exponential growth of artificial intelligence has propelled humanity into uncharted territories of knowledge and understanding. Sophisticated algorithms now mimic the neural networks within our brains. While this technology can greatly enhance human capabilities, what are the ethical implications of entrusting decision making to intelligent machines? So I feel like we're getting it's a little matrixy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I only have the one.
And the word is computational.
Computational. There you go.
By the way, I popped Tara Miller's video of this same show in the link I put the link in there.
You can't put the link in there, sweetheart, because you're not on the YouTube account.
I got a little wrench, so I sure am.
It doesn't show up. That used to happen to me. I used to have to put the link in there, but I'll make a note here to put it in the description.
I thought if I had the wrench, I was showing, but oh well.
It's not showing up. Nope.
Yes.
And this little thing here is not part of this piece right here. That's something for the wall.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, this piece
is very interesting. It's got a lot of stuff going on. I just looking at a picture of it, I'm really hard pressed to figure out like what it's made of.
It does, it is coming out from the wall, like and like I said, like that's part of the problem with taking pictures of some of these.
Yeah.
Oh, Janet commented about the octopuses in the last piece. Octopus are commonly seen in steampunk. Like the octopus, the very essence of the steampunk movement remains fluid without rigid boundaries.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this, like I said, this gives me kind of some Stranger Things vibes. Okay, moving on. I grabbed both of these pieces because they're both on the wall here. I thought this was just... Do you remember when... Let's see. Might have been the early 2000s when steampunk was making a bit of a resurgence, and there was a lot of just kind of clip art out there. The people were putting on like journals and stuff. This bird in particular gives me a lot of that vibe because it's got like that kind of clockwork kind of symbol down here, and I feel like I saw like a lot of that. And it's just a really cute. This is very small, and then this one is. This makes me think of like computer programming. I thought it was kind of cool with like these zippers. I don't even know. It's kind of and I think this is like a mouse. Okay, so for that bottom there, we have Laura Wazalowski, I think. I'll Fly Away, number 6, mechanical bird. Silk, hand-dyed, fused applique, hand-embroidered, and quilted. In this world, a mechanical bird guards a garden of gear-shaped flowers. And then that top one is Linda Syverson Guild, Bathsheba, Maryland. Bethesda. You know what? You come to Mass and pronounce names correctly. Under the Thorn Bush, Spoonflower, commercial fabric printer, print of altered artist's photo. I did not notice that. We'll have to look at it again. Metal zippers, bias tape, computer parts, assorted wires, plastic pull tabs, metal coffee filter, glass beads, photos sliced and pieced, shaped and collaged. Flying beasts have been in this world since prehistoric times. If the world were to find itself merging with technology, it is possible that birds could learn to reproduce using a technological bent as well. So this is supposed to be... Didn't she say the artist's picture printed and like sliced up?
Yeah.
I'm
still in delay, so I can't see it yet.
that kind of looks like, I don't know, it looks more like a picture of a thorn bush to me. Unless it's like really, 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 really close. Yeah, the
I mean, I think
altered
I
artist
think it
photo.
has been altered. Yeah, I think it's some type of outdoor foliage or something kind of photo that she's altered in that kind of art.
Interesting.
After having printed it.
Yeah, I guess.
You could do a lot of cool stuff like just manipulating fabric and then to go have it printed at Spoonflower and then manipulate it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's some advanced textile work.
This guy's really cute with the penguins. I'm not really sure where penguins come in, but obviously penguins that kind of have like machinery that make them fly differently with like. So we've got Sue Sherman, Newmarket, Ontario, Canada, Rocket Hopper.
It's actually pretty cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. Cotton dye, fabric paint, painted, thread painted. During a visit to the Falkland Islands, we saw the intrepid rock hopper penguins hopping all the way up the cliff from the sea to their nest. A playful voice in my head thought the job might be a little easier with a jetpack. The flying penguins think it's a treat, but one penguin clearly disapproves.
You know, this reminds me, there's a commercial that was out, and I don't think it was out for very long, and I really only saw it a couple times, but it was something similar with ostriches, I think. You know, the whole idea of flightless birds. But I think I'm trying to remember, I think they were literally just flying on their own. They didn't have any kind of
like I love like his almost like this like armor.
Yeah, it's so cute.
And his little like thread painting. And I can tell you that too in person, the way that this is thread painting, it really does look like their feathers look. That like kind of wet, silky look.
Yeah, this is, you know, and I don't love thread painting because a lot of times it's just, I don't know, it's too much. It makes the fabric look stiff and weird. But this is cool because there's that different quilting in the background. With the density on the paint. I'm assuming the other penguins are the same way. I love the little vest that holds the wings on. I mean, how cute!
And here's the ones that are still left jumping at the bottom. And they're like, it's just like, God, Todd's up there flying. He left us down here, the jerk. And even like the way she thread painted to like make these rocks look rockier. So then we have this one, which reminds me of the movie Fern Gully, if anyone has seen that. I'm not sure the context, but it kind of like when you're first looking at it, it looks like we've kind of got some smoke here. We look like we're not happy. Let us find out. Ann Jones, Melbourne, Florida. Fears Watch 2023. Cotton, fabric paint, metal and wood jewelry findings, glass beads, watch parts, rust dyed and mono printed, painted, drawn, free motion, quilted and pieced. Butterflies evolved from watch parts, tried desperately to get nectar from metal and wood flowers in a decaying garden under an acrid sky. Is this the past or the future? Yeah, so I was right, Fern Gully. Like it's like Fern Gully.
Very dystopian.
Yeah, they don't look happy.
Yeah, I do think that rust printing, rust dyeing and rust printing is a cool thing. It's pretty cool.
I can't say that I'm very familiar with it, but it makes a very distinct, marking when you do it. Is that the only close-up I got? I think close-up.
Yeah, these butterflies are a little scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably her intent. Like, this is very, like, a sort of dystopian.
Well, like, in, like, this, it's got this butterfly here has, like, a bat wing, almost.
Yeah.
And this one looks like it's kind of, like, flying through, like, a fiery kind of landscape. Okay. This is the last piece, I'm pretty sure, in this series that I took pictures of. This one is also in Tara Miller's video, but it's too good to not take pictures of because there's a lot going on in this thing here. I do have close-ups of things. Kathy Nita, California Woman Vision 3.0, cotton, hand-dyed, fused applique, machine stitched, machine quilted. In the future, one can imagine that all women, or those who choose to be so, will have pockets wherever they want them. They can give birth or incubate whatever they might genetically desire. Cyber engineering could allow one to incorporate technology directly into the body. Can't lose your phone if it's part of you. And if and I don't know what woman doesn't need a few extra arms in any choice of colors. Part robot, part sentient, genetically modified, still biological, still some version of female, but definitely different and hopefully better. We adapt as needed into what we want to be. So we've got her head up here, and she's a tree with multiple extra eyes. Let me zoom in here. We've got, I'm not sure if this DNA is going in or coming out. It looks like she's got a plug here. Kind of like a mechanical heart, I think. I'm not sure. Oop. Nope, that was okay. We have to have a cat.
Always.
She's able to hold a basket, you know, to help feed birds, I guess. She's got the Staples easy button. Ah! I'm going too fast here. Sorry. I meant to zoom in. Kind of like, but I love that the cat has like a human face. This is very like Alice in Wonderland here.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're down in her body now. So this is kind of like she's like got like a breast pump hooked up to her where she can, I guess, like pump and feed a baby at the same time. It looks like maybe there's one like hooking into her body somewhere else. Here's, I'm assuming, her phone that's attached to her. I feel like her foot might be running away, but it's still attached. Like there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
You could look at this for a long time.
That weird little amphibian baby. This one is, I like what she says about it, but like the imagery is very disconcerting.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And also I don't think I put a close up here, but she did, like you like to do, she's got writing in here. And I think if I remember, can I get in? Oh no, I can. That might just be a piece she picked and cut out. This, like I said, this one's also on Tara's video, and we stood at this thing for a while because here we've got more like incubating things going on. And there's a boar. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a lot of symbolism in here.
Yeah, because then down the bottom here, we've got things decaying. It's very, I feel like you'd need to listen to her do a talk about this piece. because there's so much going on.
Yeah, I wish that, I wish we could tap into the actual artist and get the skinny on this, because it looks like there's a lot more to this than is in the artist statement.
Mm-hmm. Like, and she even put a place for like a little pocket knife.
Yeah, I like that. Just noticed that. Oh goodness! And she's got that spiky knee pad. I'm wondering if that's, for mean people or
for mean
just
people.
hold on to stuff with your knee.
That is the last picture of that folder. So the last thing we move on to here are miscellaneous bits of things.
Just a heads up, we've been on for, well, I know we were late, but we're at 9:45. Just a heads up.
Okay, this doesn't have very much in it.
Okay. I just want to be respectful of the fact that it is late, so our friends start to fall asleep.
This is a piece I helped Julia Kelly Houdinis, who's a quilt dealer that goes by the name of PK Trouvé. I helped her take this picture of this quilt recently. That was very striking and gorgeous, very thin. There's like nothing in the middle of it. But I found it interesting because it's got these like centralized pieces down the center of it here that are like, they're almost like big pieces of like handkerchiefs almost, is kind of what they remind me of. And all of this is obviously very, crazy piecing and things like that. Doesn't have a lot of that, the normal stuff we see of like a lot of embroidered names or anything like that. But I just was like, that's really pretty, and I'm going to share that, and that's with permission, and I will put her website down in the links below. This is in Pam Weeks' office. It's a pot holder style crazy quilt that she made. And it's got, a lot of the traditional callings here of like ribbons. We got Maine Quilts 2003 teacher. Here's her initials, some bedazzlement here. She's like got a little ice cream cone. One of the things she definitely wanted me to emphasize. And then we got Vermont Quilt Festival here, which Vermont Quilt Festival has officially folded and is no longer a thing.
Oh.
And that's sad. But she wanted me to point out that up here are her 4-H ribbons for whitewater canoeing.
Oh.
Ooh. Hold on. I went a little crazy there. Sorry. I tried to zoom in. Yeah. 1964, cool. 72. Isn't that cool? So.
Those are pretty cool.
When I went to the museum to take all of these photos of the exhibits, I was with Pam in her office chatting with her, and a woman called. And she's like, you got to come downstairs. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm taking a picture of something else, and she calls me over. I'm like, what's up? She's like, this woman just brought in 2 crazy quilts to the museum for the museum to sell, like to benefit the museum. And I was like, wow, if that's not kindred. And she gave me permission to share these. She had me take pictures. There's even a silly one she had me take. And both of these quilts, this one in particular, is in fabulous condition. And the border, the border is very interesting. It's not yet priced, but she had me take a bunch of, it's like super bedazzled here. And the fabrics are in great shape. But yeah, like look, I think I've got another good picture on the bottom here. Look at this border that's all like gathered. It's very, I've never seen a border like that. There's Pam. She purposely posed like that for that photo. She wanted me to get this like apple or peach or whatever this is here because it was so weird. And then we've got May 1885 on here. But yeah, they incorporated like a lot of like lace looking things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then this cute like horseshoe fabric here. And then this with like, this kind of reminds me of like a scene from like the Blair Witch Project of like all the different markings. And I love
it's still cool though. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, look at this spider web with this like old looking spider. It's like old man gray spider. And these like very like poofy made. I don't know if it's ribbon because that's some thick ribbon. I guess it's ribbon. Yeah. Yeah. And then look at that border. I've never seen a border like that on a crazy quilt.
Yeah, it's the same kind of technique that they used on dresses.
Mm-hmm.
So you would gather those two edges, and then you tack that down to dresses, like at the bottom of the dress, or you can do like stripes of them up the skirt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a common.
And then
so I'm wondering if it was from a dress.
Maybe. And then the back, they bedazzled the seams of the back.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And I was like, well, I haven't seen that either. And then this is the second one. Again, it's not priced, but like if you're interested, you can talk to Pam about it. This one does have some fabric that's doing some weird stuff. But again, like we've got some of that what's her name?
Hey, Greenaway.
Yes. Lots of people and some animals and things like that. Like this one's got a lot of the stitch work on it. This one is like, wow, were they like calling for the Olympics ahead of time with these rings?
Yeah, these are very cool. Yeah, I'm wondering if those rings are odd fellows.
I don't know, but when I first saw it, I was like, this isn't an Olympics quilt, is it? Like
No, I'm wondering if it's 3 rings, it could be odd fellows. Although I always feel like I see the odd fellows that are elongated rings, but I've seen those little round rings other places like that.
Yeah, so there's Pam holding the quilt up. It's very lovely. And then this last
the border brown?
Yes.
Is that border brown?
It's a brown velvet. That still feels nice and velvety. And then this last, I'm pretty sure this is the last one. This is the quilt that Pam had. This is also shared with permission. Pam had shared this in the group 6 Know-It-Alls Show Us Your Quilts. And I had asked her if this one was currently on display because I couldn't remember, and she said no. So I asked her if I could lift these photos. And she I wrote down her notes here. So this is the Boxborough Crazy Quilt made by Mabel Priest Robin, who lived 1889 to 1939 in Boxborough, Massachusetts, which is just 2 towns away from where I am right now. And it's part of the permanent collection. She was active on many committees in the town and served as the librarian for years. And then she comments on the treatment here. The edge treatment is machine-made lace, ribbons, and some kind of silk pom-poms. And she comments on how unusual that edge treatment is. And I have not seen this. I don't think I've ever seen this quilt in person. And this picture is not as sharp just because I had to lift it from her post online.
Gotcha. Yeah, the things in the border, they remind me of birthday candles.
Yeah, they kind of look like that, don't they? And then this picture here, she comments, the block is the bottom there has ribbon embroidery, and then obviously like they did, I don't know, it looks like kind of like French silk knots for the flower, the part the bees like. What is that called?
The middle of the flower.
Oh, okay. And then Laura Lane, who is the NEQM collections manager, also added, she said, as I recall, the maker played coronet in the Grange, I think it's Grange band, Grange. Oh. Grange. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then that's just a further out of that. I don't think she said anything for that one, but that's just a cool bird. And also you can see more. It's funny, these little pom-poms in certain light, they almost look like those fake jewels, you know, that you buy to like, that you put on like t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this crazy quilt's got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
Dame
I don't know that I've ever
Durden.
seen that kind of like whatever those little ribbon pom-poms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got to make sure like the next time they take this out to like really like take some pictures of it.
At it, take pictures.
Yeah. State Arms of the Union. And then of course, what's a crazy quilt without an owl down here? There's always got to be an owl, I feel like.
Always an owl.
Oh yeah, there's the owl better. There's one particular block here that I'm looking for. Lots of flower. What is this guy doing up here? I don't know. I don't know what that guy's doing. Is he like hammering? Is he like a I don't know.
I can't. My screen isn't really big enough to see.
Yeah, I don't know how well I can. Oh, is it like an Asian man cutting stuff? It almost looks like he's cooking.
Oh yeah. So maybe it's from one of those I know those kind of I guess they're Chinese painted.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, and then here, Pam wrote, P of H stands for Patrons of Husbandry or the Grange. The 4 words embroidered in the corners of the block, she believes, are like the cornerstones: hope, fidelity, faith, charity.
Okay.
I love the blueness of this block. And then also like it's not,
definitely.
you can't see it well in the picture, but like this block up here is just like loaded with initials.
Oh yeah, I can see that. A little bit that we can.
Yeah, just loaded. And that is the end of that.
Wow. Oh my gosh. My head is swimming. My eyeballs are popping out.
Well, and considering that we started late because of tech annoyance and stress, we pulled it together.
Yeah. And Dee Marie said she's glad that we were able to rig the tech to get it to work so we can see all this. Oh, and Janet said ruching. That was that border. That's
the word. Yes. See, I was trying to like come up with a word, but like, you know,
it totally was
mush.
Totally out of my mind too, so.
Okay, so yes, because we're late tonight.
Wow.
So
thank you so much for taking all these pictures, and thanks to Pam for sharing, letting us share this one.
Mm-hmm.
And to the wonderful people who brought those quilts to the museum the day you were taking pictures. I mean, wow.
Yep.
I have like a whole other presentation of stuff that Arlene has shared with us, and a dealer that's a member of the Six Know-It-Alls group, or page, she has said she's given me permission, and I snagged some of her pictures. So we'll have to do those on Thursday because it's all too good to not show.
Mm-hmm.
So wow.
Yeah, do you think are we going to try to dual stream that? Are we going to try to?
Yeah. So yes. So I think probably what makes the most sense on Thursday is that I will try the new dual stream settings that I am, fingers crossed, gonna work out for us to dual stream.
Okay.
Out so that we're not having to deal with Zoom and its vagaries.
And if for some reason that doesn't work, everybody, I will put, I'll send stuff out on the Instagram and the Facebook that says like, just go to Twitch, like, just like we had to do last time.
Yeah. As a side note for like the plan B will just be for me to stream, and then I can share the video to this channel. Okay. So it'll be replayed. So we got it covered. Sometimes we're not starting on time, or we've got to.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, we've never forgotten about you. And then for anyone that showed up late, for next Tuesday, we're starting our Patchwork Pillowcases, and we're reading the intro through chapter 2, which is pages 4 to 32. And we'll have the next book after that for you to get on that stream. And I think I think that's all for us. Now I've got to make sure that I stop. Oh my goodness. We're just going to Inception the night away. Okay. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We love you so much. See you later.